Welcome to Tribe Talks with Archer Point Retail. In this installment, our retail experts Kayla, Magnan, and Thomas Nielsen are talking about pivoting your retail business to e-commerce. We also want to hear what you're experiencing and understand what you need help with. One of our goals today is to create a space where retailers can ask questions and share stories and challenges with peers. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Kayla.
Thank you, Suzanne, and welcome everyone. I hope all is well and any new or temporary routine is becoming more consistent, because I know even me working from home much longer than this recent shift has guided us to, I even found it a bit of a struggle to kind of settle in and focus, but you know, we all truly are in it together, and we are going to make it through it together. So during our first Tribe Talk, we did cover some topics in retail for surviving and thriving today, tomorrow, and beyond. And if you did miss that talk, we do invite you to listen or share that recording to hear some modern strategies and stories in the retail community. But now for this session topic, we did take a quick poll, and with the shift of buying online in this pandemic, there really is no surprise. The most requested topic was surrounding e-commerce. So before we dive into some details, there are a couple polls to get a better understanding of kind of where everyone is in this current e-commerce discussion. So if you could please fill out this first poll, it is a select one, kind of describe to us your current situation the best you can. And we'll just give you a few moments to make your selection.
And you just click on the button that suits you best. We'll give it just another second here. We'll close out the poll and share the results. All right. So with our poll results, the bulk of them have a dedicated team focused on design and optimization, and then kind of at both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah, so that's a great mix of a question. So as everybody know, an e-commerce implementation can have many stages.
Perfect. And then we do have a second poll to kind of understand where everyone's thoughts are on the most important factors to consider when reviewing over an e-commerce project. And this one is multiple selection, so feel free to select all that you think apply.
I'll give everybody just a moment to respond to the question. And again, you can select all that apply to you with respect to your e-commerce projects. All right, we're gonna get some responses there. We'll close it out and share those results.
Wonderful. Now, quickly thinking, if I don't have an e-commerce shop and I just need to shift, you know, for an example, because a pandemic closed my brick and mortar location, I would think any website with any display of merchandise and the ability to take an order is beyond great at this point, and that other stuff in the poll is kind of just fluff. But Thomas, maybe you can give us some deeper insight. I know it's a feature you're discussing weekly, if not multiple times a day in this pandemic. Is that other stuff fluff? Does it depend on the e-commerce stage, external factors? Let us know what you know.
Well, let me just start out by saying thank you, Kayla and Suzanne, for allowing me to participate in this webinar. It's greatly appreciated. So Kayla, what we have found is that companies can create a working e-commerce site in much less time than they think. In fact, a poor misunderstanding of what is really possible with digital can be one of the most significant obstacles to moving forward quickly. Some of the best implementation I have been involved in is where the management have delegated the responsibilities to a project team. They have the authority and the direction from the owners to roll it out quickly, but with a focused approach. So today I would like to share some of the key takeaways that I have seen in the implementation over the last 15, 16 years. And so today I'm going to focus around the platform and the design. So if we start out by the platform, maybe whether you are already having a website in place or you're starting from scratch and your budget might, like most of us have a low budget, there's a number of platforms out there that allows you to get started within a couple of days. You've probably heard of them. Some of them are named Magento, Shopify, WooCommerce, and so on. But if I should give you a handful of tips and tricks regarding the platform, I will definitely tell you should think about your goals. Think about how you anticipate your business to grow does it fit in your future plans, that will meet your future requirements. Consider integrations. One of the benefits of a ready-built platform is it allows you integration with other technologies, such as social media sites. This will help you increase your customer base and ultimately increase your sales as well. Choose the right platform for your product and your industry. Some platforms have features that is specific for your product offering or for your industry. So if your offerings are limited to a specific type, industry, or product, you should consider what works best for you and your industry. And how do you do that? Well, some way you could actually look at your competition and go out and see what website, what e-commerce platform are they using and how are they using it. Your budget is actually important as well. But even choosing a platform that has themes, template, plugins, and other value-added services, ensure you can afford this e-commerce site when sales might not be as good and be a little low, like we have this crisis at the moment. Another consideration is, should you go hosted, should you self-host? For example, Magnan, you have to provide your own infrastructure. Shopify, you have an option to get hosted by them. Consider the back-end features. I think that's something we overlook, but you will actually do a lot of different operations in the back end, and so evaluate those features and options as well. And payment and shipping. This is always a big pain, or can be an obstacle, but not all platforms allows a third-party payment processor and various shipping options. So please do the research here. You should consider to reach out to your ERP community. There might be an integration in place and already built for you. Evaluate the support plans that the application comes with is vital. On the design side, it really depends where you are, the retailer, in the process. But here are some considerations. A design, give your site a unique personality, and that will help it set it apart from the competition. Think of your e-commerce site as a physical store. Giving it a unique style can entice your customers to come back again and again. Visiting your e-commerce site should be an experience. Identify your target market. It's crucial for any business in any industry of any nature to identify the target market. Be pragmatic about your approach. Targeting multiple markets is not something we advise for businesses just started up. Ensure your e-commerce site is light and user-friendly. Navigations is vital, important here. Organize your products into categories. This search function can dramatically set you apart for your site. Remove redundant and unnecessary elements, and don't go color crazy with too many variation of colors and fonts. Security of all time is important. These sites are commonly targeted by cybervillains, so we should really take that serious. Another thing is the product description. The product description is one of the most undervalued elements of your e-commerce site. Unlike physical stores, e-commerce sites cannot provide customers with the on-hand experience before they buy. This is obviously one of the downside of an e-commerce site. So please provide the descriptions that can give the customers the look and the virtual feel of the products. Your customer will truly appreciate that. Put your brand to work here. That is important. The purpose of your brand is to give identity to your business. Build up your brand and make it work for you. And Kayla, the last thing I might state here is the call to actions. I've seen a lot of e-commerce sites over the years, even some of our own customers, where the button says buy now, and that will just not work anymore. We need to be a little bit more creative in this environment. So that's some of the tips and tricks from the design and the platform I would like to share today.
Those are some really good points to get started, and it kind of helps show that any site could really show your items and take orders, but once you dive into those categories, just those two of platform and design you outlined, we can see those templates and free applications provide some ease to quickly get started, but those topics outline really where a team is going to find the real success of an in-depth e-commerce project. And I think if we could dig a little bit deeper, one of my main questions, I think, when adding e-commerce to brick and mortar sites is, how am I going to manage the inventory and shipping then? Could you expand on that for us?
Yeah, of course. The shipping, the inventory and shipping is one of the most important features of any website. So the shipping is important for the customers because we would all appreciate a fast and affordable shipping for our purchases. You should consider a flat cost shipping. A flat rates is a good option. But what we see most out on the various websites and what has to be considered is free shipping. 90% of people would shop more often if shipping is for free. So how do we do that? Well, we could take the approach that adding more items to the basket will qualify for free shipping, or enable shoppers to select the slowest delivery time and then therefore give it for free. That's another option. Regarding the inventory, live or close to live inventory count becomes imperative as we shift towards more online orders. And when I say online orders, I'm including traditional e-commerce orders, buy online, pick up in store, buy online, return in store, and buy online, delivery from store. So what system will manage all this for you? And it really depends on your strategy. Will you have a dedicated warehouse to fulfill all this, or would you have a mixed fulfillment strategy? And don't forget, we still have all the stores and the POS transaction in this whole mix. So mixed fulfillment will be the way forward for many retailers, as it could provide a better customer service and less inventory tied up in one location. And the natural solution, the gatekeeper of this, would be your back office ERP.
And you've mentioned integrations a couple times, but I'm thinking this goes beyond inventory and shipping platforms. I think you mentioned also social media. So could this be integrations into external applications or even your back-end system?
Yeah, Kayla, I think I mentioned in a previous webinar that we should try and eliminate all our manual processes as possible. So an integrations with other solutions will be a key factor here in achieving that. So for example, analytics tools, external or internal, will be important for us to understand analytics such as time on site, conversion rate, bounce rate, customer acquisition cost, and so on. Delivery services such as DoorDash, Seamless, Uber Eats will now be part of the new normal for retailers. It has been part of the hospitality world for years, but the customer now expects to get delivered the same day if there is a local store. It is not only for the restaurant, this is now also an expectation for the retailers. So integration with ERP systems will be very important, and solutions like LS Retail, eCommerce, and Channel Sales Manager, which will allow you to seamlessly integrate to one or more e-commerce platforms.
Now, before I get us too deep into a technical dive, I was just thinking on some of those topics you actually originally mentioned and relating it to this gotta have it now lifestyle that we have with devices at our fingertip, social media aiding into the now common fear of missing out feeling. It seems the smallest effect is going to have the biggest influence, not only as it relates to platform, but also with design.
Yeah, very interesting. Kayla, maybe I can ask you, I know you're very active in the social media space. What is your thoughts here?
Well, I think actually one of the first things I'm usually always influenced by that I think a lot forget is actually a subtle influencer, even myself sometimes, is the logo. So we all know the famous fire engine red Coca-Cola label, the big IKEA blue and yellow letters. I mean, Nike swoosh, Adidas mountain bars, Twitter bird. A lot of these don't even need a brand name to display it for us to recognize that it's a retailer we know. And I think that's why a logo could be the lead driver to help not only evoke emotion, but leave your brand's impression, which easily translates into the e-commerce space. I think, we're seeing retailers using logo colors as a theme across the site. So just as you mentioned, it's not a rainbow of crazy colors. It's typically just the shade of a same color. So again, spreading a similar emotion along with a brand's message. But then they also add more impact by pairing up those color influences with some power words to really direct action. So again, as you said, being creative using other call to actions than just buy now. But again, like you said, Thomas, remember that a website is a unique design. So think of it like a store, which is an experience, and it's designed for a target audience. So just because you now sell online doesn't mean your audience is going to be everyone who can access the internet. Could it be? eventually, sure, but I think most often there's a specific market your product or services cover, well, at least to start. And so I think retailer sites, whether e-commerce or social media platform, they're tailored to the respective audience. And I think I'm seeing a lot more in the social space, them realizing how important it is to remember that they're showcasing products that can't be physically seen or touched, smelt or tasted, depending on the industry. So those online representations do need to be accurate. They need to be abundant because that's what's setting precise product expectations. So I want to remind people to keep in mind not just quantity, but quality of pictures, descriptions, videos, all the resources you provide for the consumer to evaluate the product. They should be current if it's a holiday season or if it's the summer season. I mean, of many angles, the front, the back, the side, the top, in-depth how-to videos, or even tips and trick videos. But there also should include accurate dimensions or even comparisons, either against other products or just common household items to display, product life size realizations. But don't forget available colors and picture the item in that color. So everything that describes your product in full detail, this is going to help set your consumers' expectations to be aligned with the product they receive. So within the social media space, I think I see, like any business decision, it comes down to strategy for a successful return. Now, but I don't want people to think that that's going to be not fun, because strategy can definitely leverage from creativity. I mean, especially when a drastic shopping shift occurs like we're experiencing today, you got to get creative.
Yeah, good points, Kayla. Very interesting. I like being the host here, and since you're on a roll, let me ask you one more question. When you say creativity, are you referring to more than just pivoting creatively?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think retailers can get creative on all channels. I mean, we mentioned last talk seeing brands getting creative during this time, pivoting using webcast platforms or just any technology to eliminate human interaction. But now we're seeing retailers experiment with things like subscription services that may never have even considered it before, such as a fashion retailer or even your small local breakfast cafe. I think one of the biggest things retailers should take advantage of during this time and be creative and have so much fun is social selling. You can use social media to capture data that you may not have had a chance to gather in the store, like survey or poll your audience. I mean, I remember from my retail days, we would have surveys and polls pop up at the end of the point of sale transaction, but honestly, we would get like no responses. And consumers are online right now. I mean, many social media platforms are even reporting that there's a 66% increase in the usage during these stay-at-home orders. So if you're a fashion retailer, maybe pull your followers and see what their favorite style of shirt or cut of pant or even season or designer if you showcase any. I mean, if you host classes, find out who the most energetic instructor is, or even survey if you should bring back an ended class. There's so many different features available on these platforms. You can host contests and create live events. I mean, I definitely would suggest starting a company hashtag and your followers can engage with that. I mean, for an example, Twitter, you can allow them to participate in the live events by asking questions or giving feedback using that hashtag, or post an Instagram pic with the company hashtag that enters them into a contest where the elected winner could win a prize, which is a product, the service, gift card. You can set the rules and the prize and the giveaway. That's what's so fun about these platforms. And the creativity isn't just for these current increase in social media use. Last talk we mentioned there's a 78% of consumers saying that they're going to continue purchasing online as a primary shopping channel following any restrictions lifted. I know I was shopping a lot on Amazon before. Now I'm shopping a lot more on retailer websites, and I'm definitely going to be part of that stat who's going to continue. But we can keep it running full circle, provide the consumers that follow up to your store, offering them that promotion or coupon just for interacting with them. And then get more data, have them invite a friend. They can get more benefits for that. And then you get more data from the friend filling out the survey. And I really could go on and on and on about these creative ideas in the social space, but one more tried and true action that anyone can take advantage of is celebrity influencers. They're already all over Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok. I mean, you name it and they're there and they have a massive following base. Use that to attract shoppers. I already see just in this current situation, influencers posting pictures in their house and they're in nightclub dresses, they're in head-to-toe business casual outfits, but they're just in the kitchen or they're lounging on the couch. And again, they're in their houses because that's what we all have to do right now, but they have fun captions and saying like, I'm tired of wearing pajamas all day, and getting fun with it. And luxury retailers like Saks Fifth, they're taking advantage of that. They reported a couple weeks ago that they have items quickly selling out just because they're marketing through their social channels. So no hesitation, social media, influencer marketing, it's hot, it's a trend. 86% of consumers have even exposed that they make purchase decisions based on their influencers they follow. And if I could sum it all up, I think really the key to be able to be creative, have fun on social media or any of your e-commerce channels is just really understand your audience, know your customers and what they want. And Thomas, let me flip it back to you now. Do you have feedback on that? What do you think it's key to know your customers? Does that make it easier to pivot and communicate? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Kayla, I can't say that enough. It is, as a retailer, it's always important to know what, where, and when your customers are buying. I think a lot of retailers have now realized this with their stores being closed and now only relying on their e-commerce customers. Our customers and retailers in general have never been more incentivized to nurture the local market while the retail world is pretty much shut down. It has made the retailers aware of how important it is to capture the information from the store customers.
Now, before I take us any farther down a member loyalty discussion, I think we can save that for 2 weeks because we do have to wrap things up. We do want to get into some questions at the end, and we do have a member management and loyalty discussion coming up on May 7th. So we ask everyone to join us for that next session. And we are going to have another poll quickly here to have the most wanted topics at the next session. So complete the next tribe topic poll, and we'll get into the Q&A following that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everybody. We're asking select one of what you'd like us to focus on during our next Tribe Talk. We do have our 2 weeks from now, we have our topic picked. You will make your selections and also go ahead and type your questions in the questions pane. And we'll give it just another moment and we'll close it up. All right, let's share the results. Like reporting MBI.
Wow.
Looks great.
Thank you, everybody, for your participation in that. All right, we do have one question that's come in thus far. What are some key things I should consider when deciding whether to select a solution like Magento versus Shopify?
Thomas,
Well, I think I will start out. The hosting example, as I gave earlier, is definitely important. Some of the integrations, like I mentioned before, also the CSM from Archerpoint, the LS Retail e-commerce has integration with Shopify, shipping, payment providers. It's some of the technology stack that I mentioned before you should definitely consider. And maybe Kayla, you can talk a little bit more about the social media aspect on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think social media kind of goes a little above and beyond just e-commerce or just Magento and Shopify, but it's definitely an area you can get creative on. And I think, pick one to start with social media and then see kind of naturally get yourself into the other ones. Don't overwhelm yourself by, I'm going to do Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. I'm going to do it all right away. Start with a small step.
Yeah, great advice. Don't bite off more than you can chew, right? Take on one thing at a time, hone that, and then move on to the next. All right, looks like we've got something coming up here. Does anybody want to come off of mute and share any challenges or successes or any experiences they've had? If you could just use the raise your hand feature, your GoToWebinar console. All right, no takers on that one just yet. I know we're pretty close to running out of time anyway. Any closing comments with no questions right now from Thomas or Kayla? All right, hey, Thank you both so much. Love this topic. Great advice. I hope you enjoyed your time with us today, audience. We do have our next one scheduled for May 7th. We're moving the time up a little bit per the request from one of our previous polls. So keep those responses coming. Feel free to reach out to Kayla or Thomas directly or info@archerpoint.com. Happy to have a chat with you directly between now and our next Tribe Talk. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to next time.
Thank you.
Bye bye.